You may have noticed in the gospel that there's a number of miraculous cure of blind men. In the canonical gospels, actually, more or less, there are six. The most familiar is, even with the name, Bartimaeus, was shouting, Jesus, as Jesus was passing by, have pity on me. And then there's another one born blind from birth. And there's another one born blind, was in Jericho and in Galilee like today. Sometimes there are two blind men. And you may be wondering and asking why so many curing of so many blind men? Were there so many blind men? Of course, Jesus was curing all kinds of sicknesses, the paralytic, and all that. But maybe we can say that there is something here that Jesus is trying to point out to us. For one thing, although we may have our physical sight, our eyes, bodily eyes, but maybe we are also blind in many things. We know that. I remember one time, long time ago, we were discussing after the exam, and somebody said, I think I will fail. Sabi, bakit? Hindi mo nakuha yung answer. Nandiyan yan eh. Sabi niya, hindi ko nakita. Hindi naman sinabi niya, wala kang mata. Just saying the point that sometimes we have two eyes, even more. Sometimes we do not see the point. We do not see the most important thing. We do not see the meaning. We only see superficial things. Sometimes not a very important thing. We see only partially. So Jesus, I think, is also pointing out that point to us today. But one thing that we notice in this gospel, the two blind men, notice that Jesus was passing by from Jericho. It is not mentioned in the gospel, but Jesus was just curing the daughter of Jairus. He came out, he was passing by. And then two blind men were following them. Jesus with his apostles, they were passing by two blind men. They were shouting and they were saying, Son of David, have pity on us. Of course, they were blind. But what is noticeable here is they were following him. How come? They were following and they did not have any physical sight. And of course, that's blind men. They will hear sometimes. They are very sensitive. Maybe we can explain that way. But they were following Jesus. And then Jesus entered the house, and they also entered the house, and they continued saying, Son of David, have pity on me. They know very well that the Messiah will come. When the Messiah will come, one of the things that he will do is really to give us sight. No? When you think of Advent today, we'll be talking about so many lights, so many stars. Why? Light, because that is what God wants us to see. He is the light. Many times we are in darkness. Yes, we do not see things. We are in serious doubts, and we are afraid of many things, war and all that. But Jesus is reminded, I am the light. So these two blind men know that. They do not see, and yet they know somehow they can see with the eyes of faith. There is a saying, we do not walk by our bodily eyes, but we walk by faith. And this is the most important thing of seeing things. The important thing of seeing God. So they recognize God. Maybe people saw him. Jesus was passing by. They recognized. They could not see Jesus with their eyes, but somehow they saw God by their faith. And so they said, Jesus, do you believe that I can do this, when they were near him? And they said immediately, yes, Lord. So the eyes of faith, they go together. And this is the most important thing in our journey during this season of Advent. Jesus will always be around us. Many times we do not see him. We have to open our eyes. You have to be open-hearted. You have to be fair. We do not have to be very narrow-minded, or we see things only from our own very short point of view. We call this short-sightedness. Look at things. See the totality of picture. Maybe you will understand. This is what we mean by walking with the eyes of faith.